There goes.
Okay, I'm going to call to order the Weathersfield School Board meeting for December 9th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Are there any additions to the agenda? Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes for November 18th.
Move to approve.
Okay, John made the motion to approve. Is there any discussion, changes? Looks good to me. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. That's unanimous. Okay, up next we have public participation, and I have a note here that Mark Youngling has an acknowledgement to make.
Yeah, I'll keep this really brief. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mark Youngling. I was a member of this board for quite some time, and it was really a hard board to step back from. We had a lot of fun, and I just want to recognize straight away, no matter what else happens before town meeting day, that I just want to express how deeply you're appreciated by the whole of our community and always putting our students first and therefore our community and the needs of it. I know sometimes it may seem like thankless work, but if it ever feels like that, just know that coming from someone who's been there and done that, I personally and a lot of the population that I'm dealing with really appreciates the work that you do. So no matter what happens before town meeting, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. Okay, is there any public participation online? No. Yeah. Okay, next we have the administrative report.
All right. So my administrative report's very short today. We're just going to go ahead and highlight a couple of things that we've been doing since we just had a board meeting about 3 weeks ago. We started off, we also had Thanksgiving break in there. So the first thing we did was we had a community dinner. We served 437 meals that day. It was pretty incredible. A great turnout. Anybody that was able to make it, we had a lot of fun. It was just a great opportunity to be able to break bread with our neighbors and our students and be able to have fun together as a whole community. So that was pretty awesome. Sorry. Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. No, skip that. No, that's it. All right. We also had that's fine. And then we also had our student council, our leadership students, put on a turkey triathlon, and it was something that they developed themselves. They've done it in years past, but they came up with all the ideas. They had some struggles with it, which was okay. So we met, we adjusted after the first recess time, and then they got a little bit better at it the second time, but they were giving activities for students to do that last day before we went for Thanksgiving break. And so then they were able to really step back and look at some of the struggles that they made and how they could fix those, and they had plans already for next year how to make it better, which was nice. We also had PTO did 3 events during that time. They had to make it and take it for students, and then they also had the craft fair on the same day, which were highly successful. They also did their holiday shop last week, where students could come in and buy some holiday gifts for their family members, friends, and that's always a successful event, which is great. And we have some upcoming events coming up. We have our Proctor Library, we're the Weathersfield Proctor Library. We partner with them every year, and we do some of our students go there and they sing from our choir. Santa shows up, we read some books, have some cookies. And it's a great partnership that we have with the Weathersfield Proctor Library. We have our Winter Ensembles concert next week, holiday musical performance on the 19th. That's during the school day, which was an awesome performance last year. Our students got to perform and do a play, and it was really inclusive of all of our students. So I highly encourage you guys to come with that. It's 8:15 in the morning on Friday the 19th. So we have an early release day for students, and then we start our winter break. And we have our winter break until the 2nd, and then we come back in the new year ready to start and go forward with continuing to learn.
Hey. Oops. I have just a few things tonight. I wanted to share, I shared at the SU level the district quality standard results of the governance standards. And I had a board ask me to share the district level, so we'll be sharing the district level at every meeting. So this is how Weathersfield board scored the governance standards on the district quality standards, which is just a self-assessment this year. And we'll see what happens next year with our results. So hopefully any areas that we need growth in, we'll work on those. So this was the first one. This was about the board following inclusive processes to invite and incorporate community input into the vision and goals. The board sets measurable goals, reviews them, progress towards those goals, and monitor student academic progress and wellness. So score proficient in all of those categories. Annually assessing board performance and including adherence to agreed protocols, processes, and policies. Board annually reviews whether and or how its actions and contributions have impacted the school system's progress in meeting goals. Board annually evaluates the effectiveness of community engagement and public communication efforts. And the board undertakes its own continuous learning and development, provides members with opportunities for ongoing training and support to maintain and increase their skills and understanding. We all scored proficient in those realms. And then there's one last category. The board discusses, adopts, and revises policies on a regular basis. It's really done at the SU level, but you scored proficient in that realm because you're there and helping with that process. Oh, sorry, I'm not moving forward.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go.
Those are the same things.
I'm looking at you. Clicking on the wrong button. The board ensures its annual budget aligns with its stated priorities and provides an equitable distribution of resources to help meet the needs and goals of every student. The board ensures its members are aware of conditions set forth in negotiated agreements and contracts. The board ensures its members understand and comply with Vermont statutes and regulations relevant to board work and education. The board stays apprised of proposed legislation and policy making that may affect the school system and students. And the board maintains an ongoing relationship with locally elected officials. So all proficient scores for Weathersfield School Board, which is great. Yeah, sorry, I'm putting the wrong one. I can see this one's bigger, so I can see it better. Okay. So just a little update on the redistricting task force. They had their report. They had their last meeting November 20th. The report to the legislature was due December 1st, which they submitted. Their plan for governance is the establishment of cooperative education service areas, often referred to as BOCES. That would include no new governance school boards, but it does allow for shared service hubs for high-cost areas. A lot of BOCES consolidate special education programs, funding, transportation, those types of things. And then there's an approach to incentivize districts to merge voluntarily over a 10-year period. So the plan has been submitted. It might be accepted. It might not be accepted. It might be changed by the legislature. So we're all waiting to see what happens. And I will keep you updated. I think you probably heard on the news or the radio, and without a map, approved map, the funding formula is in limbo, and the funding formula is what's predicted to reduce costs across the state. It applies a per student cost for every single student in the state. So I'll keep you posted on what I hear and learn. A couple of other things that we're working on. We are anxiously awaiting the agency's model cell phone policy, which we are required to pass by the end of the year, a cell phone policy. So now we have some procedures that we use, but not a policy. I've looked at model policies. People are submitting kind of policies that have been in place in districts, and they range everywhere from basically what we are doing in practice to no phones bell to bell, no phones in the building. They have these cell phone lockers now that people sell. You have to put your phone in the locker when you walk in the building. You've probably heard of Yonder pouches. And, you know, it's all the things that need monitoring and supervision, and we'll cost money if we go that direction, so we'll have to decide by the end of the year. And then I've been working closely with the nurses on the cardiac response plan, and actually, Grace, the nurse here, has kind of been leading the charge. She's phenomenal, so we have a good plan, and that will be in place by the end of the year as well. We're looking at trying to streamline our AED machines across the SU. We all have different brands, so it's hard to buy the same pads and batteries when we all have different machines. So we're working on that. And then lastly, I did reach out about, there was a question last month about, can we do a hybrid meeting for the annual informational meeting? We can, but because of the structure your community has voted on, your meeting opens on Saturday, it closes on Tuesday after the vote. And there's some floor voting and some.
We got that straightened out for this year?
Voting, yes.
Okay.
There's some voting that has to happen on the floor. And because you have voting on the floor, you can have remote people streaming in, but they can't vote. So only people that are present on the floor can vote. So they can listen, but not participate. That makes sense. So think on that and decide what you want to do for that. And then, Larry, the next part of the budget is, the next part of the admin report is the budget update. So I'm going to stop sharing. Give you the screen.
Okay, so if it pleases the board, nothing has really changed in the budget book. The only thing that's changed in the budget book that affects the budget final number is the dental premiums came in higher than they've been flat for like 2 years, and there was an increase this year. It's a small amount of money for the bottom line, but that's included. There's been no announced tuition costs that would help firm up those numbers. So those are guesses. I feel pretty educated guesses, and which is a big part of the budget increase this year was high school tuition. So I will walk now through the latest and greatest from the state on the property tax estimate for Weathersfield School District. So this is an example of the tax worksheet, and then this is right in the budget book. It was there as of yesterday. The expenditures, that's your proposed typo FY27 budget. I'll fix it right now. One second. There you go, FY27 budget, $9.953, $590. That's what's in the budget book. You have no offsetting revenues. The only district in our SU that has offsetting revenues is Mount Scotty School District because of high school tuition they actually receive. That would subtract if you had any, if you don't. And then you have your LTW ADM. This is slightly over from last year, which is a good thing. It lowers the tax rate because we divide that by the net education spending. So we take that 9.9 million, divide it by 574, and you get the net education spending for LTW ADM. Then the state goes through and excludes some things. So for example, one thing they exclude is your bond payment. Your bond payment was passed before the, I guess the non-grandfather clause of bond payments, which is a couple years ago. So now the state doesn't want any more bond payments, but because you got put yours in when you did, we were able to exclude that $234,000. FY28 will be the last year of your bond payment. So just a heads up, that'll help your budget, but then you'll lose the exclusion. So that they take that per LTW ADM and we subtract that. So the $17,339 subtracted the $408, you're now at $16,930. Then they have the excess spending threshold estimate, which for this year I was given is $16,470. So as you can see, you're at $16,930. So that's $460 over. So that $460 is multiplied by 2, and we add that to your net ed spending less exclusions. So 16,930 plus 920, I guess, would be 17,799. That is your education spending plus excess spending. Here the yield, that is in the December 1st tax letter that just came out last week. That's the yield that was set by the tax commissioner. We divide that by the $17,799, and we get an equalized homestead rate of $2.01. Then we take away half a penny, basically half a penny, about 4/10 of a penny, 4-penny discount on per Act 84. That was an act when Act 127 came in, and they did it in the middle of the legislature to help equalize some of the school districts that were going to see a big hit from Act 127. So, was subtracting those 4 pennies, you are now at $1.96. And then we have the CLA. We divide that number by the CLA, which is 86% for Weathersfield. And now you have a final estimate FY27 homestead tax rate of $2.28 and 78 hundredths of a cent. So your non-homestead rate is actually lower than Weathersfield. To compare that to your last year, July 1 homestead tax rate of $1.98, that is a 15.5% increase on a budget that went up 11.95. What would that mean to your average homeowner? Using those latest numbers, comparing year over year, if you had a $200,000 house appraised, it would be an annual change of $614 per year. If you had a $400,000 house appraised, it would be a $1,200 and some odd dollar change year over year. That's not monthly, that's an annual increase. And I have nothing else unless you have questions for me.
Yes, Jeff?
Just a general comment. I watched the legislative update last Wednesday from JFO, and the picture was pretty bleak right across the board. There wasn't one fund that was not coming in at projected. The transportation fund is the worst. The ed fund was down low, is about what, about 1%, I think, below projections. And we don't want to forget that doesn't appear to be a magic pot of money that they're going to grab this year. In other words, it's going to be an interesting town meeting.
And I mentioned this, I think I mentioned this last meeting too. The yield that is set by the tax commissioner, taking into all the accounts that John just mentioned. Remember, the state has bought down the tax rate 2 years running.
Right.
So now, if they don't buy the tax rate again, half of the suggested average annual increase of 12% across the state would be is half of that 6% of that 12% is due to the buy down last year. You would have paid for it last year, but it was bought down. So instead of a $614 increase, it would have been $312 this year, for example.
And the yield traditionally over the years has come in, the final numbers always come in a little bit more attractive.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put any money on it this year.
Yeah, I find that very frustrating because last year we had our budget passed already when they decided to do the buy down. And so now we have to pass the budget that's twice as bad because of that. It's very frustrating. That the governor put us in that position with the buy downs.
One of the questions, Larry, that we heard from any scuttlebutt around the state, are other budgets coming in as high as ours? Percentage.
The average is 12%,
The average is
right?
12%. So, I mean,
Most
we're
everybody's
taking an average. Some people would be lower and some people would be higher.
Well,
So
are they doing tax increase or budget increase at 12%?
the governor's tax letters at the average homestead property tax increase.
Okay, so we're a
Not
little
budget
above that
increase.
then. Okay.
So,
15.5.
and I think in our SU, Harlan is slightly lower than you guys this year as a tax increase. And amount of spending would be slightly higher,
Yes,
depending on the town.
and Portland has a savings in high school tuition share.
Yeah,
Which is helpful.
but Harlan has the opposite of what you have.
They had a small
They
increase
had a
class.
smaller eighth grade class and a larger outgoing senior class.
Uh-huh.
And you guys have the exact
The
opposite.
opposite,
Yeah,
yeah.
their high school tuition was down.
And we have fewer levers to pull because of our school choice.
Yeah, that's a fixed cost.
It's set, nothing to do about it.
Not only is it set, it's an estimate and it could come in higher.
Whistler.
Always a ray of sunshine.
Well, and, for example, Windsor Central, the last 2 years, has come back and clawed back money from Weathersfield.
Mhm.
Windsor Central being Woodstock. Mountain Views, I guess.
Yeah.
You recall how much?
It was 30 to 50 grand last couple of years.
What Springfield,
They've been right on. We check it every January and we keep an eye on it,
Yep.
but we haven't received a reimbursement or an excess paid from Springfield, but Woodstock has been the other way, fortunately.
And is that special ed that they're coming back for? or-
No, that's just regular
Regular ed?
education. Especially would be out of the SU budget.
And then, I guess I'd just like to, for anybody, I don't know if anybody's really online, we only have 10 people, but, just to re-go over that, the chart that you had done, the pie chart of the budget increase and where everything is coming from.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I just wanted to let everybody know I participated in a VSBA webinar at lunchtime today. And I asked the question about the excess spending threshold and how set in stone that is. And that it has changed. It went up, it went down $100. So just in the last few months, so they could still move it a bit. The suggestion was to go to your legislators and let them know that you're unhappy with the current threshold and that you think it needs to be raised. So I'd ask that all of us do that, anybody online do that, talk to your friends, have them contact their legislators, to ask to have the excess spending threshold raised.
I think this is the,
Cause I don't think we're the only district that's over it, so,
no, currently, all 3 of our districts would be over, which traditionally is what we've only had 1.
Yeah.
And now it's all 3. The chart that Anne Marie was referring to, we talked about at the last meeting, but I think this probably is the best way to view it, better than the pie chart personally, is to show miscellaneous is down here. It's a very small number, 0.38. Sorry, it's below 0.38. So what we're looking at is that 11.95% increase. How much is each area?
Mhm.
So anything not listed as miscellaneous, that's lower than 0.38, so small, we can't even put it on. Non-health insurance benefits, which if you think about it, go along with negotiated salary increases. So you probably would include the green of 2.36% of that 11.9.5% increase and the blue. So you're talking more like almost 2.75% is negotiated salary increases. That's in the contract. High school tuition is that pink. SU special education is the orange, like almost a little less than a third, a little more than a third of the increase. Health insurance is the gold. And the SU non-special ed admin and ops is the purple, less than 1%. So it kind of goes to show that there's basically 6 categories that account for over 10% of the increase, of the 11% increase.
And of that, what do we actually have any control over?
In a 1 year basis, you have almost no control. Negotiate salary increases were taken care of 2 years ago. The SU special ed increase, you're already paying for in the actuals. We're finally budgeting for it.
Mhm.
And high school tuition is a community decision. And currently, the way it is at K-8 operating districts.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Larry.
Yeah.
Okay, so given, what is the budget? It's 9.9.
Well, let me go back to my screen. 9.9560, no, I'm sorry. 9.953,590.
$593?
$590.
$90.
I'll
So
give you the free
nine
back.
million $953,590.
$590.
And we don't have any of the extra money to worry about this year. It's just.
There's no
budget.
fiscal year
Okay.
25. You guys ended right on.
I'll take a motion to approve the FY 27 budget of $9,953,590.
Motion 6, wasn't it?
He said 93.
$9,953,590.
Sorry.
Vincent made the motion. Is there any discussion?
We gotta sell it.
Yeah, that's up next. Is there anybody online or anybody in the room that wants to come up with a brilliant idea? Or have any questions? Okay, not seeing anything. I will take a, I guess, roll call to vote for this. Sarah?
Aye.
Megan? Aye. John?
Aye.
Vincent? Aye. And I am also an aye. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Very much.
All right, so we're gonna need to get out and talk to the community about this. Let them know why and what they can do to help. As far as, talking to their legislators. If anybody can get, send an email to VL and to our senators, VL Coffin, that is, he's our representative, and our senators, Joe Major, Allison Clarkson, and Becca White. Okay, yep. So their emails are all available on the state website. Let them know that we need that excess spending threshold raised. I think if all 3 of our school districts are over it, it's obviously too low. I don't think they're properly figuring in the way that special ed has increased.
Or healthcare.
Or the healthcare, yeah.
I mean,
So,
at their level, that's.
And also, costs of retaining teachers, as far as salary increases that we need to give in order to retain teachers. So I think the threshold was a little low this year, so hopefully we can get that raised. I'd also like to ask the BAC, thank them for their help with the budget and for their going over it and their recommendation to us. We took that very much to heart. If people feel like you've looked over everything and there's really nothing that we can cut that wouldn't affect students, that's important to us. So thank you very much. And I know you guys write a little blurb in the town report, and you guys are community members, you talk to people, so I'd appreciate any support you can give. Just put down what you can in the town report as far as the difficulties and that really any cuts would impact students, and that we've got a great little school here and we want to keep it that way. So hopefully the voters will agree. But I think, we get out there and talk to people and let them know just, how difficult things are right now, and that we've done the best we can. Without any, if they come back, if they don't pass it and they come back, it'll probably mean, cutting services to the kids that will affect the students. So does anyone else have any other ideas as far as getting out and talking to voters stuff?
Just to back up on your, right, when we're talking about the excess spending and, is there a way for us to kind of draft a way for, because I think some of what's difficult to kind of reach out, find the contacts, and then what do you say and why do you care? And is there a way to draft like an example for those who are interested, so they're not coming up with something from scratch? As well as that list of names of who they
Like a
should reach
template
out to.
Yes, to sign. So a good draft letter to,
It would make the message more consistent.
Yes, So that way it's the same thing, to the same people, and it's a little bit easier to get people to do something to help if
It's easy, right? Understood. Okay, I can try to do that. Maybe you guys can help me a little bit.
Yeah.
I talked to Elizabeth for a moment.
Yeah.
And try to work on that.
It's a great idea. We can send the template out.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, good idea. Anything else? Any other ideas? Anybody want to hang out by the dump and?
Yeah, I'll hang out. I'm gonna have to hang out with me. He doesn't know it yet, but he's gonna hang out with me.
We talked about today.
We also talked about
That's
doing
where,
some
that's where you
videos.
hang out in town.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you
what
see
we've got.
everybody. I would say somebody in my brother. We also talked about doing some videos, maybe a one-page sort of notification that we can send out as well about what the budget entails and how it's gonna impact the school. We're also gonna get students more involved too. There's some things that they're gonna do for town meeting day too, so that our community, when they come in, they get to experience the school. Reach out and try to have community come in for community dinners and such, but it'd be nice for them to be able to see some of the things in action, see some of our students highlight some of the stuff and where their tax dollars are truly going. And when you see that through the eyes of the student, it's a lot more meaningful. So.
And I know now we have some data, the STAR data and stuff that we've been asking for to kind of back up the fact that we are actually making improvements and that Weathersfield is doing well, and so I think that would be a good thing to show off at town meeting day as well.
Yeah. We also talked about, inviting community into the coffee.
Yep.
Just have a coffee with, the Brian and coffee there to just talk about, answer questions. Have a real simple one pager, what the drivers are, what the goals of the budget are, and those will be the talking points.
So
Maybe highlight in your newsletter too, your weekly, reach out to board members, here's their information, whatever.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, PJ was in there a lot last year.
Yeah.
Just don't forget to vote,
Yeah.
this is our budget.
Bring it up
support our
bring it up to the
school.
top.
Yeah, we would,
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like.
I think we all get to the bottom of
Part
like
of
this.
this helpful, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social media, I wonder if each one of us should post something or we should post something as a group. As the date gets closer.
Yeah.
It's still a little bit early to be plastering things, but sometime in February, early February, probably we ought to do several posts. And it might be more effective if we do it as a group.
Yeah, I think so. The issue with social media posts is I don't want us to get involved with arguing with anybody online, so I think we post our posts. If people have legitimate questions, we answer them, but if people are just there to, to troll us or whatever, we have to be able to just let that go and not respond to that sort of thing because it can get nasty on social media and.
Legitimate questions deserve an answer.
Yeah.
Just straight criticism with no
Yeah,
information is not, doesn't
yeah.
warrant
So,
a response.
yeah. So I just would be careful with social media and that.
Yeah, you can
Thank
just
you for your
direct people
Yeah.
to go to
Perfect.
ask
Yeah.
questions in a different way.
Yeah. And then I would invite, I know the legislators, they come to the second part of town meeting a lot. They come to the, to the town portion of town meeting. I would love to have them come to the school board portion this time around. I know Joe Major in particular had a great post on Facebook with regard to the education spending and what's happening with that. So I would love to have him come and say a few things about what's happening, on the higher level. I'm talking to you, Mark. You're in with, you have a little,
All your
I'll see
friends.
who I can come up.
yeah, see what you can have to do.
The problem with that Saturday is, what, 20 people sitting in the audience?
Yeah.
Another dozen or two online, and that's it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have in the past, put together and printed a flyer to mail out. I don't know if that's something that people are interested in doing. I certainly can create it, as far as, designing it and come up with some of the content. I don't know where the funds come from for that, because I believe we've taken that out of the budget. It's one of the things that over the years has gotten removed, in an attempt to scale it to remove any excess that we had in there. So there doesn't really exist anymore a budget for that. And it is a bit expensive. It's a couple $1,000s, I think, to do. We could do online, which would be free. A flyer. So could do something like that. You will miss some people because not everybody's on Facebook or wherever.
Or would the school district be able to access the citizens' emails or however they communicate with the town? Is that something?
Yeah, I don't know what
Kelly might know about or ask?
Messenger.
Yeah.
That's parents, though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
just
because we only have
parents.
access to
Parents, yeah.
Yeah.
current
Yeah.
student parents.
And somebody
So like the
shares
town
something.
doesn't have like an email list of everybody in town, I don't imagine.
I don't know that
Oh,
answer.
oh,
I
They
don't
don't
know.
Oh, okay.
I'll find out.
Okay, that'd be great to know, yeah. If they have an email address list they can share with us, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we have a hand, Becky?
Oh, I was just thinking on those lines, instead of maybe if we don't have the money to mail stuff out, making up some nice posters and putting those in strategic places that people might see to get the people that aren't on the school list.
That's a good idea, Becky. Posters aren't as expensive. Yes?
When we did a mailing for the budget, we did what's called Every Door Direct for the U.S. Postal Service. It's not to do with the, voter checklist, it's to do with every resident in the town of Weathersfield.
Yeah,
So we've done that before.
yeah, it still was expensive though, in the printing and everything. So I think doing an online flyer that we post wherever, whatever. We can post it on Front Porch Forum, we can post it on Facebook. Does the school have an Instagram?
Yes, we did.
Instagram, just whatever social medias you guys have, we'll post it there. And then try to email it to as many people as we can email it to, ask people to share it. And do some posters in some prominent locations. It's a good idea. Maybe the kids want. Are the kids allowed to help with that? Is that legal?
I think
Go to work.
they're allowed to, my understanding is they're allowed to time, place, thing, right? They're not allowed to advocate, I don't think.
Okay, all right, well then we can't do that.
But they're allowed to say the budget vote is,
Okay, so we can do some of those.
please vote,
Yeah, please vote.
you know,
Yep,
that's not taking your stand.
okay. So we can have them do that and then we can make another poster with some bullets,
Informational.
some talking points, some bullet points. Okay. All right, so that's something to work on. I mean, I know, like, I think it was,
Stand out there, right?
I believe it was Springfield that,
Put 'em on the
like,
school
when they were
buses.
to pass the budget, they failed a couple of times and, like, the teachers and stuff got out there during, drop-off time and. Is that allowed?
Yes, they can stand with, please vote.
They're not picketing, so they're allowed to, correct? They can't, yeah, there are certain things they can't do for their master agreement, yeah.
Not just teachers, I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone
they're
that's
us,
in
yeah.
support, like,
Yeah.
if we just got all
You
the
guys
parents
definitely
to
You guys definitely
participate
Okay.
and vote, we would tip that scale every time I say it, like.
Mhm.
Did you say
Like-
they can't?
can. They
They
can,
need to
they
come out and
definitely
vote.
can.
They
Line the street coming up here.
Yeah.
Side.
Quite a few
You approve
people.
the budget, so you can say, please vote yes.
We can ask them to vote yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so that's definitely something we can do.
That's when we get closer.
Yeah, when we get closer,
To
yeah.
make sure that they're remembering to go.
I think the first things to get done are the draft letter to legislators, because that needs to get to them ASAP.
And that would
And
do our
something with some
own, right?
talking points that we have, that as we're talking to people, and, we can have a list of, things, maybe some frequently asked questions and answer. So I think those two things are important to come up with really quickly. As far as the social media posts and the emails and the posters, I think that probably more towards in February to get out with those. Anyone have anything else that they're thinking?
I think we should tweak, Larry's, right, his bar graph to put in
Yeah.
like, it's like, just to make it so apparent
Uh-huh.
that this is fixed. That I know maybe you can't do it for the budget books, that's a little biased, but I
We
think,
can take his graphs and add
yeah,
some.
I
because
can,
it's a thick, it is not, it's at the SU level maybe, or however you can word it to say, like, this is not an expense that can be manipulated. It is what it is.
I can, take what I emailed to you as a board, and we discussed with the BAC, and that was printed out at the last meeting, and I can put that in the budget. I can say FY20, say, I have to find a nice place for it in the financials, but I could add that bar chart, and it says, FY27 budget drivers.
Mhm.
It's pretty self-explanatory,
And,
so I can add that.
That
yeah,
would be great.
and I think I mentioned before, like trying to condense the number of pages that we need to print, because that was pretty expensive. Last
Yeah.
time around, it was
Uh,
long and a lot of white space and not really, so, yeah. I don't know, if you want my help with it, I can do stuff with it. I don't know what, I work mostly in InDesign and stuff, but, I mean, I
I'll share
can,
it to you in a PDF, you can go
yeah.
wild with it.
Okay.
But we have to, we have a drop dead date of
Mid-January.
mid-January, so whatever
Well, it's voted on now.
it's voted on now, well, we need the letters, we need all the other documentation.
Uh-huh.
But once it's,
Okay,
Done.
yeah, if you can give me like a week with it,
yeah,
before it has to go to print, I can make it smaller maybe.
Yeah.
Be less pages. Okay,
I think, my opinion would be, as far as spending money to get out this information, considering the situation we're in. If we have to find $2,000, I think we should do that.
we're printing?
Or for mailers or whatever, whatever we need to do, that's not just the town report. I mean, if we're talking about like the direct door to door, like if that gets to every house, it costs us $2,000 if we can find that, or we have to, is my opinion. So, I don't know if anyone else thinks that this year in particular, like, we're either gonna work and try our hardest, or we're gonna be
Yeah, well, we'll have
in
to,
March.
we'll have to get some estimates on the cost for that, where we've had it done before.
Yeah.
I can talk to, the post office, but my last understanding was if you hit every house in a zip code, the cost is
Because we have a few zip.
very, very low.
Uh-huh,
So most of the cost is gonna be
is the printing.
the printing.
Because you
not-
have to print a lot extras that aren't going to
Yeah,
anybody who's doing the
because
voting.
But we can use them in
If you
other
just- if you
places.
tell the
Like-
post
No,
office you're
they
gonna hit
get
every address,
Oh,
it's easy for them, because they just put it in
Yeah.
every,
Can't
but-
find them ourselves.
you can print it yourself, it's on regular paper, you probably want heavier
Or even it could
card
be on
stock.
card stop.
You probably want heavier card stock, we can do that.
I
mean,
think
it's-
they need to be I know it needs to be a certain size. It's
Yes.
not quite 8.5 by 11. It's
No.
like, what, 8 by
It's like
10 or
this.
something like that?
Smaller than that.
Talk to him.
We can
and
do
let us know. Okay, yeah, if you get me some specs and, at our next meeting, maybe we can work out, so we can work out what we want to have on that. Because we probably don't want to send it out until February either. We want everything to be closer to time. Okay.
Thank you, BJ.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so I guess we know what we've got to do. Up next, we have board engagement check-in. Has anyone had any time to do any board engagement? Any school activities?
I've been to school activities.
I was gonna say.
I mean, most of us, or at least three of us.
Three of you have been, yeah.
The Make It and Take It this year was fantastic. It was really great. Last year was our first one, and it was above expectations, but this year was, I don't know, something about it extra special. The gift options were really great. Like, there was really, my husband and my kids couldn't wait. They made a little snowman out of like the nuts and bolts, and that was a really cool gift. So kudos. That was great. And then the Thanksgiving lunch was fantastic as well. Very nice. And then soccer Saturdays.
Is that the indoor one?
So we're done. No, that was that, but that was a really great opportunity to get out and talk about what we're doing. And I think it was more just feeling like, hey, you're on school board. How about? And I'm like, hey, come to the meeting.
We try, right?
Okay. Sarah and I have both been doing the 4 W's, which gets us into the classrooms and seeing in the halls. You're doing 1 or 2? I do 2, so.
Great, yeah, that's awesome. I've always wanted to do the 4 Wins program, but unfortunately, yeah. But yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, that's great. Glad everybody's getting out there. I hope to do a bit of it. This fall has not worked out good for attending things, but I will certainly make more of an effort. And then we'll have to get out there for the budget, so it'll be out there.
I usually do a little PSA at the Corwin's meeting that's like close to budget time, because there's quite a few, there's probably anywhere from 12 to 16 parents at that time. So I usually do a little PSA about please go vote.
Thank you.
So I will do that again.
Great.
As we get closer. But.
Okay, so up next we have setting the next agenda, which, our next meeting will be
January 13th.
January 13th. Okay. January 13th, 6:30, same place, online and here, music room.
I will have an update and with some more information on the LED changeover.
Okay, great.
And Brian and I soon will work on wordage for the letter as well for the crosswalk.
Okay. So we're gonna have LED update. We're gonna do some more talking about educating in regards to the budget.
Flyer update.
Yeah, so all that kind of included. Is there anything else that we need for January?
I'll have a preliminary budget presentation ready for you.
Preliminary budget presentation, great.
January.
Yeah, your informational presentation.
Yes, yeah, for the February 20th. That way, if there's any changes or anything, we'll already have it on. We can have an extra meeting.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And well, I guess we have to. Do we have any need for us? Okay. And I guess I'll take a motion to adjourn. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And that's unanimous. Thank you, everyone.
Hope everybody has a good holiday.
Yes, a very good holiday.
You beat my meeting.
Did I beat your record?
You did. Last night was our quickest meeting ever for the town.